Hello everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Samantha and I make clothes. For the next 2 weeks, we're doing a Halloween series. I'm making all of the costumes that are right here. And today we're starting off with my very, very favorite Black Swan. So if you want to see how to make that for yourself, then keep watching. All of the stuff that I bought came to about 76 Australian dollars. So it's pretty cost effective. And I mean, you don't have to do it as extra as I'm doing it. You can just use like a black corset and a tutu and like get on with your day. But we're going to try and make this costume as accurate as we can to the movie costume. I'm so excited. Let's just jump into it because I cannot actually wait. I dressed up as Black Swan for Halloween when I was in high school. So it actually means so much to me to be able to use my skills as an adult and a seamstress to make this costume myself and to show you guys how to do it as well. I chose to go with the deluxe satin for my costume. Personally, I just think it's very ballerina, but you can use whatever fabric you want. It doesn't really matter because at the end it's going to be covered in feathers and tulle anyway, as you'll see. But I've basically just cut out my main pieces, my lining pieces and my interfacing, and I've just ironed my interfacing to my main, as you can see here. Then I've just pinned all of my seams wrong sides together and I'm sewing at 2 centimeters to allow for my boning channels. This is just how I like to do my boning channels. You can do it how you want to, but I'm using a 0.9 centimeter boning and I basically cut off the seam allowance that's closest to the center back, and then I roll over the seam allowance that's closest to my center front and then edge stitch it, and that becomes my boning channel. So you want to make sure it's mirror image from the center front. So as you can see here, both sides, they don't go the same direction, they go the opposite direction. This is just how I like to do it. So I've added 2 centimeters to my patterns, and I also made my corset patterns straight from my mannequin, just straight from draping onto the mannequin. I just roll over all of those seams and I like to pin them in place and give them an iron. It kind of just makes it a little bit easier going through the machine, especially around the bust point because it is a slight curve. And I'm just edge stitching just on the very, very, very edge of the fold so that there's still room for us to put the boning in after. And then this is what it looks like. No boning in there at the moment, but that's kind of like what the fit looks like. Then you want to move your cat to sew the lining. Basically just sewing it exactly the same, except you want to put right sides together when you sew so that it can just be pressed and flipped outwards like this. Now this is the point where we want to close up that top part. So we're going to lay our main piece facing right side up, and then we're going to lay our lining piece on top, right side down, so right sides facing each other. And then this is really important, you need to put a pin through each seam of the panels just to make sure they're all matching on each side so that when you flip it, it will be the same. And then you're just going to stitch 1 centimeter now along that top edge. And this will just kind of help you get correct measurements with your boning. I used to do this step after putting the boning in, and I find that this is just an easier way to do it. So I close up the top first so that I can slide the boning in after. So you want to sew it 1 centimeter at the top, and then you're going to flip it over and give it a press. Then you're going to lay it flat and do an edge stitch, making sure that you're stitching your seam allowance from your main to your lining piece. Once that's done, I'm gonna just burn the edge of my boning, and then you shove it through all the way to the end, and then I'm just marking it with a charcoal and then pull it out, and I'm just gonna cut a little bit over 1 centimeter away from where I've marked it. So I've just done that to all of my boning channels, and now just pinning up the bottom. So you flip it back right sides together, and then you're gonna pin up the bottom again, making sure all of those panel seams match up again. We're gonna sew 1 centimeter at the bottom, and then this is what it should look like when you reach your arm in through the side and flip it inside out. Well, it's not really inside out, it's back the right way, and this is what it should look like. Now, on this point of the video, my footage corrupted. So for the center back, I basically, with my hands, just manually folded my seams in and pressed them, and then I hand stitched them, and then did another stitch with the machine 1 centimeter from the edge, and I kind of sandwiched some boning inside. I also lost the footage of me putting my eyelets in, but I did about 8 of them and they were 3 centimeters apart, I believe. I just threaded the eyelets with a ribbon It was about 5 meters of ribbon, and then when I got to the waist point, instead of crossing over, I actually just went straight down, just like this, so that you've got a loop on the waist on both sides, and then I continued the crisscross after that, and then at the very bottom I just tied those into a knot which stays on the inside of the garment. And this is what it looks like on with my tutu that I bought. I did just buy a tutu. I really couldn't be bothered making one. It's a lot more expensive to make one. I've just like hand tacked it to the corset along the waistline from side seam to side seam, leaving the back open so that I can still open and close the corset. It'll essentially mean that it's like one dress from the front, but then like 2 pieces from the back. It's kind of confusing, but that's how I did it. Then I've just overlaid my tulle. I just did it by eye. I bought 1 meter of tulle and I used the whole meter, just trying to make it a little bit fluffy and get rid of the shine of the fabric. Once all of the feathers and the tulle are down, it's gonna look really, really fluffy, just like hers. And that's what we're kind of going for. We're going for a bird-like look. Then I glued all of my feathers down. I just used fabric glue, and I'll put the glue that I used on the screen because I highly recommend it. It's really flexible and washable, but I haven't lost any feathers or any gems off of this, and I've worn it a couple of times for ages for photo shoots and stuff, so I really recommend that. I basically just put all of my feathers down by eye. Once again, I focused a lot of it along the waist, and then I put all of my gems down by eye as well. And this is what it ended up looking like. As you can see, it's super, super fluffy. It looks so professional and just beautiful. And now it's time to make her tiara. I found this tiara in Spotlight. It's called the Icicle Crown, and you could just leave it like this, but we're trying to make it as accurate as we can to the original film, so we're not going to leave it like this. I've basically just snapped off heaps of little bits of it and then re-put them on in like a jagged, asymmetrical way, and I'm just using gel nail polish and my UV light to cure it, just because I didn't have time to wait for all of this to dry with regular glue. And then I used a black nail polish on the back so that it would get rid of the clear aspect of it and it would bring out that like holographic nature of the plastic. And then on the front, I've used the same black polish to color in little sections, leaving some of the gems exposed. And then this is what it ended up looking like. It actually looks sick, and I highly recommend you doing that. It really made the costume so much better. And then this is what it looks like in hair and makeup, guys. So I've just put some eyeshadow on my hands to go with kind of what she did with hers. And then this is what my makeup looks like, and my tiara. Everything looks so accurate to the film. I'm actually genuinely so proud of myself. The dress is amazing. It fits like a glove, and it's actually super comfortable as well. That's basically what it looks like. Please subscribe, please like this video, please share it with someone, and please let me know if you make this for yourself. I'll see you in a couple more days with a new video. Bye!